Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm here with a chat with you for, today. I read this article the other day, and I gotta say, it got under my skin a little bit. And one of the things I like to do is protect my hobby. And I don't have a huge reach, obviously. A small channel covering solitaire board games and trying to expand out into other different types of games as well. A lot of miniature stuff, but regardless. Uh, and I want to protect my hobby and stand up for it when I see someone attacking it, like Mr. Edward DeSale or DeSale. Not exactly sure how to pronounce his last name there, but Mr. Edward here, who wrote this article a few days back in December, back when we were still in the hell year of 2020, and it was published on Wargamer. The article is 2020 the year the tide turned in the struggle for diversity in war games? Yeah, it's another one of those garbage articles that you see put out over a plethora of different subjects. This one having to do with our hobby, wargaming. And I looked in, and Wargamer covers a whole lot of different topics, but this article this drove me nuts. I gotta say, you read it, and a lot of factless, baseless statements are made in it that just drive you crazy. So I'll put a link down in the description so you can read it yourself. We're not going to go over the entirety of it, but I'm going to read out a few passages for you and tell you my thoughts on it. Now, I mean, he talks about how COVID at the beginning hasn't been great, obviously, for wargaming, which it hasn't. A lot of conventions have been canceled, and that does suck. I hated to see that. But he's got this bolded right here. Why has the hobby struggled so much with diversity and inclusion, and how to fix it? Okay, well, in that statement, you're coming up with some statements of fact that you're taking as fact that aren't necessarily a fact. You're assuming that the hobby has struggled with diversity and inclusion and that there is a need to fix it. But nowhere in this article does he ever make any point about backing that up, right? So he makes this bold assertion and then doesn't put any facts that actually back that up besides the statistics that the hobby is mainly guys. That's it. That's his whole premise, that the hobby is horribly sexist and racist and misogynist and all this other crap because it's mainly guys. Because unfortunately, we're still free for the moment, and people have the choice to do what hobbies they like. And unfortunately for him, more men choose to get into wargaming. It just happens to appeal to more men. They freely choose to become involved with the hobby. They don't tell women that they're not allowed in the hobby. That's never been done. To my knowledge, it's never been done. I can think of not one publisher, and I've met many publishers, that would ever say that a woman couldn't have her war game that she designed published by them simply because she's a lady and lacks the penis. It's outrageous. It's ludicrous to make these types of inflammatory claims and attack the hobby when it's baseless, when there's nothing to back it up. So he makes a statement right here. This should be an issue of paramount importance to all wargamers. Why? Why? Please explain that one to me in a way that doesn't make you sound racist or sexist as hell. Please tell me why someone's immutable characteristics, and immutable means stuff that they have no control over, they can't change, like their sex, their race, right? That type stuff. Why that matters. How does it matter? In any way, shape, or form, how does it matter what someone looks like when it comes to wargaming? I can't think of any ways, not one, that would explain why it matters when it comes to wargaming. I mean, can you guys? Feel free to let me know if you can, because I can't think of anything of why it would matter if it's a white guy or a black guy on the other side of the table from me when we're playing a war game. Or if it's a white lady or a black lady or Hispanic lady, Asian lady, whoever. Hell, I prefer an Asian lady. But yeah, don't tell the wife I said that. Anyway, that doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter at all, because you don't judge someone based on their immutable characteristics. You judge them based on the content of the character. If they're a war game designer, you judge them based on, did they produce a good war game? Does it have good components? Is the instruction manual easy to read? You know, all the stuff that you review a war game based on. You know what I've never reviewed a war game based on? On the color of the designer or the sex of the designer, because I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was a lady. It doesn't matter if it was a man. It doesn't matter if it was a black, a white, Hispanic, a yellow, a purple, or green, or whoever, as long as the game's good. That's what matters. That's what's going to grow the hobby, not dividing the hobby into more identities. I had highlighted this statement that he had made. Let's get something squared away right out of the gate. As a hobby, wargaming has not been a welcoming place for many marginalized groups. Okay, how? How? Feel free to fill us in on how it has not been welcoming. Because I don't see it. Now, anything that you claim to personally experience is anecdotal and subjective, right? The only way you can really gauge something like that is statistics. So he points down to a statistic down here about, roughly 95% of the community is male. Well, here's the problem with that. People are free, again, to make their own choices. And wargaming just happens to be a hobby that more men enjoy. Gaming as a whole tends to be a hobby that more men enjoy. Now, that has switched more in recent years because gaming has grown, and in the course of it, right, technology expanding and being able to create new and different types of games. You didn't see stuff like The Sims way back when. It was a lot of Doom, right? Think back in the 90s when video games were really becoming prevalent. You were seeing a lot of stuff like that, but now you've got stuff like The Sims and was a Second World, Second Life, or crap like that, and MMORPGs, stuff that has a lot more story and content to it, and that's going to bring women in, right? They're going to thrive on stuff like that. Now, obviously, it's all down to the individual person on what they're going to enjoy. You could have the machoist guy who enjoys romance novels and the daintiest lady who wants to play Case Blue. It's all up to the individual person. And that's the point, though. It should be up to the individual person. It doesn't matter what percentage of the community is what. I don't care what percentage of the community is white. I don't care what percentage of the community is black. I don't care what percentage of the community is male or female, because it doesn't matter. I want to grow the community. That I'll agree on that point alone. That we want to grow the hobby, and I've seen the hobby growing, especially with some of the games that came out this year. There were some very good crossover games that released this year that we had discussed that broached the general tabletop gaming crowd in the wargaming crowd, something both sides could enjoy. That's what we need to be going for. See, later on in this article, he uses the word gatekeeping. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it's part of this statement he had made here about not being a welcoming place, and that there's gatekeeping going on. Okay, who's keeping the gate? Who's doing it? Who's stopping them from coming, from playing, from buying it? Because I bought a game today, right? I want to support my local game store in these hard times for them. So I try to go when I have a few extra dollars and just buy something from the local game store. Speaking of which, do that. Definitely, if you've got a local game store, support them. Absolutely, 110%. Keep their doors open. Keep their employees paid so they can take care of their families too. But you know what they didn't ask me when I was buying my war game? They didn't ask me, or look at me rather, and say, well, you're a white guy, so you're okay. You can buy this game. The shelves weren't divided into white people can shop here and black people can shop here, and guys can buy from these shelves and ladies can buy from these shelves. Ladies, you only can buy the puzzles, okay, and the RPGs. You can have those, but you can't have the war games because those are gate kept off to the side. Only guys can get those. Yeah, see, that didn't happen. Anyone could walk in and buy a game. Anyone could walk in and buy any game. So where's the gatekeeping? Where's it happen? See, he talks about this war game oriented message boards, Facebook groups, and other online communities often remains dens of unrepentant reactionary toxicity, homophobia, and misogyny. No, I think that's just the circles he runs in. Now, Mr. Edward, he judges people based on their race, their sex, who they're sleeping with, their religion, and any other crap, because that's what matters to him. He cares about race. He cares about someone's sex, right? That's his thing. He wants to be focused on those characteristics of a person. That matters to him before there being a good person, a bad person, a good war gamer, a bad war gamer, right? Whether or not they design good games or bad games, whatever that the case may be. He's solely focused on their immutable characteristics. Last I checked, if you care more about someone's race or their sex, that means you're racist. You're the sexist. All right? Stop trying to preach at people from some moral high ground like you're, this holier than thou person when you're the racist. You're the one that's the problem. Stop putting out this nonsense, this garbage. Now, this kind of, I'm kind of in the middle on this, the Zenobia Award. And I'm not horribly aware of it. I've heard about it a couple of times. And I mean, personally, I'm fine. I don't care if they want to do this. I don't think it's the best of ideas because it comes across kind of sexist and again, racist to me because it's trying to create a concrete path to publication for marginalized and underrepresented groups in the community. All right. So basically what they're saying is we want to only support people who aren't white guys. Okay. I mean, I don't agree with that because, again, you're judging people based off of immutable characteristics. But if you want to do that, you do you. All right? If you want to be racist and you want to be sexist, you do you over there. That's fine. That's your thing. Because last I checked, like I said, all the publishers I know, and I've talked to many, they don't care if someone's white, black, Asian, woman, man, other, whatever. If you make a good game, they'll publish it because they want to make money. They want to sell games. If you come up with a good game, they don't care what you look like. They care that you came up with a good game that they can publish and will sell. They want to have someone who's going to keep putting out good games so they can keep selling them and keep making a profit. That's the point of the wargaming hobby, the business. You want to make a profit. You want to make a living. You want to buy food and shelter for the family and the kids, right? That's the whole point. At no point along with that do you stop and think, well, no, it's a lady. I don't think we can publish that game. We'll make thousands, but I'd rather go publish this white guy's game that's garbage instead because, he's a dude. They don't care, right? Nobody cares. Now, I'm fine with this stuff, too, that he talks about. Hollandspiel putting out the vote, suffrage and suppression in America. Fort Circle's votes for women. That's fine. Make whatever games you want, covering any topic that you want to. That's great. And I've talked about this before, and this is what drives me crazy, because these same people will say that other games shouldn't be published. And I talked about that in a different video, a game that got canceled by GMT. And they say that game shouldn't be published for whatever reason, but they want to put out this stuff. I say put it all out. Let the community decide. Let people buy and vote for themselves. To vote with their wallets on what they want to buy. If you have an idea of a game, publisher wants to make it, do it. I don't care if it's non-traditional, non-kinetic conflict, or the hell he's trying to go with there. Doesn't matter. Make your game, right? Everyone do it. And games are a great way, I still think, of learning history in a way that can keep kids interested, right? I love the game. Damn, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it. Underground Railroad, I think is the name of it, or Underground something. It's about the Underground Railroad. It's put out by Academy Games. I love that game. That's a great, great way to teach kids about what happened during that period of history. It's outstanding. Yes, I would love to see more games that cover topics like this in a way that could keep someone interested and have them learn what happened during that time. Right? That's great. Nobody cares about that. Push those all that you want. It's the fact that you put this stuff out where you say that others are being oppressed and suppressed and that certain voices need to be raised up. That's fine if you want to raise up someone's voice, but don't raise them up only because they are a certain color or a certain race. That is not the way to do it. That shows a prejudice on your part. Raise them up because they have something positive to bring to the hobby. A new idea for a game they've developed, a new article they've written, whatever it is they're bringing to it, that's fine. Help promote it. I don't care. I'll do it myself. I don't care what someone's immutable characteristics are. I just don't like this garbage of trying to judge people based on those immutable characteristics like it somehow matters, because it doesn't. Now, I was going to read you guys some of the comments that had been left because most of them actually agreed with me, but for some reason it's not coming up here. So, we're not going to worry about it at this point. But like I said, feel free to put down in the comments what you think about this. Let me know whether or not you think someone's race or gender matters when it comes to war games. Because for the life of me, I can't think of a reason why. All right. And people try to point out, well, there's less women in war games. Okay. And people are free to make their choice. If you can point out to me a company that is not publishing a game because a woman created it and it's confirmed 100%, then I'll call them out. Right? Flat out. I will 100% call them out. I'd stand with you on it. Nope. That's wrong. Absolutely. If they weren't publishing it because it was made by a black guy, Asian guy, whatever, and that was the reason, 100% right there with you. Do not agree with that. But as far as I know, it's never happened. They want to make a profit. They want to put out good games. They don't care who makes them. I don't care who makes them. Hell, I don't know the gender, the race. I mean, I can tell from the name roughly the gender most of the time, but I have no idea the race of most of the people who put out the games on my shelves unless it's someone I've happened to met. Most of the people, I don't know their race. I don't care. I've never bothered to look it up because it doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't. What would greatly help the hobby, and all hobbies for that matter, every hobby, is to stop this nonsense. The struggle for diversity, and how about the struggle to stop judging based on race and sex and immutable characteristics? How about the struggle that MLK talked about back in the day about judging someone based on the content of their character?